if these people were to get to even a few, even just a few, the four people that are there right now, but if they go beyond that, first you got to explain how is it that these 15 countries that have decided that say, hey, you can't be here anymore, goodbye, and we can trade fairly. Their leaders are dead. You think the people are just going to lay down? This is why they're in a frenzy right now, trying to get this done before, this movement propagates into the whole of Africa. Right. Because when it does propagate, it's over.
Right.
Or the only other way is you gotta bomb the whole damn continent. You can't do that.
Right.
Okay. Or you're gonna nuke the whole continent? Then yeah, you can't even. You lose all the resources there. You know. Right. And you think those young people are gonna sit down and just let everything take in? No, they have they have social media. They have all these things that you don't want. When it comes to the banning of TikTok, it is my opinion that the reason why they wanted to ban it, and by the way, even though Trump wants to pretend like he's the one who's saving TikTok, it was his idea to ban TikTok. Then Joe Biden did it, and then he's coming, oh, I want to save it. And then see, most people don't even know that. So when I see people say, oh, thank you, Trump, I said, what are you doing? I said, the only reason why we're here is because of him. Right. And now he's pretending because he himself said it, that TikTok got his popularity, so he cannot not get rid of it. They talk about China will take our information and this and that. I'm sorry, the U.S. is taking our information.
Yeah.
So what are you worried about China? And if honestly, China is taking it already anyway. So most people, except for people like me who don't put their family on social media, most people's information is gone. For us, it was way too late. You want to keep the new generation, our kids' information. But the point I was trying to make is, places like TikTok is where people take video and it's posted and you can't take it off. It's there, So if someone witnesses something happening and it's on the media, what are you going to do? You're going to have to go to the owner of TikTok and say, hey, can you take that down? But then that goes against...
You had to pay them money.
But not just that, but then that goes against the freedom of speech that everybody talk, like the fake freedom of speech that we have in this country, where people think we actually have freedom of speech. We don't have freedom of speech. We have the illusion of freedom of speach. Exactly. And those who have freedom of speech are those that have the power to take it away from you. Like Elon, for example, he'll take down things that he doesn't agree with, but yeah, he'll cry about the fact that, people were censoring Twitter and that's why he bought it. Come on, what are you talking about?
No, it's about data.
It's about data, but it's also about control, because remember, they want to control the narrative. They want people to see what they want people to see. Right. They don't want people to see anything else that goes against their own narrative. Pretending like you're a huge fan of freedom of speech and yet you're blocking people. Again, I know we got off a little bit, but it all ties back together. Right. But the thing is, that's the thing. It all ties up together, because I'm going back to the social media TikTok thing earlier. If TikTok is available, you can't do anything that people can't find. If you remember when Osama bin Laden was killed during the Obama administration, right? Do you know where I found out?
Where?
Twitter. I found out on Twitter before he announced it.
But we're talking about the reason why it was easy for the European to take over, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now they took over through manipulations, through playing a little game they always play, and it was easier for them to do that because we're also not together as a group. We had different kingdoms, all separate kingdoms, and we had different kings and queens and things like that. So it was easy for them to just target. They can just sneak in at night because they actually were doing all the different warfare that we use, a different method. They actually study the science of warfare, the one we had, how we fight, when we attack, and all of that, what we do, our barrier, where we have our bow and arrow, and all of that. Those are the places that they burn down, they attack and burn down first before even like the soldier would even reload and do all of that. After they are taken over, the same fear, because we have so much resources, they don't want us to come together, because if we did, we will be more powerful than they are. Because people that just leave from here, when they went there, they become the richest people. Like we're talking about the Moors, right? Mm-hmm. They left from Egypt Was it Egypt, and they will speak Arabic?
Yeah, it was North. No, yeah, it was North Africa.
Right, Africa. Yeah. So they left from there, went over there, and they was the richest people. They was the kings and queens. Like
they controlled Spain for like 700 years or something like that.
700 years.
Yeah.
So 700 years. So think about it. When they look at us, they say, "Damn, these people are powerful. We better take care of them now." So. And the reason, this is what I've been saying. I say Africa is thinking small, bro. Africa is thinking too small, Flash. They're thinking, they are not looking at how things are. Think about it. We have all these resources. Because if you count everything, like coltan, cobalt, oil, you talk about diamond, gold, the percentage, and we also have
uranium. Don't forget that.
Also have 65% of uninhabited land that we can actually be able to grow in the world, like 65%.
Right.
Every year they lie to us that Africa GDP is $3.3 trillion. US is the one that doing the finished product, and they are going to sell it there. They get that GDP go up.
Yeah, but because gross domestic product. Yeah.
Right. So the only GDP you getting is the taxes that they paying off of what the raw material they're taking from you. Yeah, if Africa was to unite, 1 year time, the first year, Africa GDP will be around. It will be between 35 to 45 trillion dollars. Africa, if they unite, there will be about over 70 trillion dollars a year. That's what they're afraid of. This is a fear.
It's to your point. It's funny. We were talking about the GDP of America, but America, we barely make anything here. Most of our GDP is just people buying stuff. That's why it's a consumer-based economy.
Right.
That's why they say if people stop buying, then we're in a recession. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas in a place like I'm going to use China as an example. They are a production economy where they make stuff and then sell it to everywhere else in the world. Right. We barely make anything here. We make stuff, but we barely make anything here because the economic system we have.
Right.
Take it. If you can save money by taking the thing somewhere else.
Hey, we make guns, man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have more guns in this country than people actually. But like you said, in Africa, all those things, like, first of all, the resources that they would be selling, to other countries, if they, if that's how the trade goes, it's actually things you can touch.
It's tangible.
It's tangible things.
Right.
And then tangible things that is needed all over the world, especially in the West, because the West is very materialistic. That's one of the things. Like, very materialistic. That's all it is. Like, that's why, like I said earlier, they steal the gold and they take it to their homes and stuff, and that's about it. But to your point, yes, like this is why they're afraid. This is exactly why they don't want it to happen. It doesn't even take the whole continent. There are 54 nations, right? 54. I think there's a 55th nation now because of Sudan splitting.
I was looking at it, but I thought, because I was trying to do some research, right?
Right.
And then it would be like 55, and then like 54. I'm like 55.
Yeah. So Sudan. Now that you have South Sudan and then South Sudan, that's the 55th nation. Either way.
South Sudan.
Yeah. I think that's the one. Yeah, I think that's the one. But think about it, right? Even if it's not even all the countries, you just need a few. You just need like 10, 12 countries. Because you see, one of the things that, I was thinking about, even in America, we don't have it. You have it in Europe, you have it in China, but even in America, we don't have it. Imagine if all these African countries came together and say, you know what, we're going to set up a railroad network that goes from every country in the, to the other within the continent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you don't need a passport. If you're African, you don't need a passport. You can come to any country. Because think about it. In the old days and stuff, when we were kings and queens, there was no such thing as a passport.
Nah.
We just go. Yeah, we just show up.
If the message was important, the king would give you some sort of a goal,
right, to show that it's coming from him or her.
Yeah, so it's important, so nobody can stay in your way.
Exactly, they can't. Basically, it was like your security to say, you touch this guy, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
that's basically how our system was. the whole passport and border thing came from who?
From the West.
The West. And this is the thing, like, you know, but this is what they say, divide and conquer, right?
It's all about control, man.
It is. It is about control. Look, it's kind of funny. This is, you know, when we were chatting earlier on the group message, I was telling you, you said something where, you know, the current head of the current administration said something about, you know, Saddam Hussein was killing the terrorists and stuff. I said, listen, a broken clock is right twice a day. But the thing is, he himself said something, you know, during the current administration, saying that the borders are just made up lines. It's like, yes, you are right. Again, he's a broken clock that seems to be saying the right thing twice a day.
No, I think sometimes he get confused, bro. He get confused. He lies so much that sometimes when he's telling the truth,
he doesn't realize that he's telling the truth.
Exactly, he's telling the truth. So
he stumbled into the truth.
Yeah,
he stumbled into the truth.
To him, he was lying to us again, but he doesn't know the difference now because it's lies so much. Like you don't even know if they're lying or telling the truth. So they
exactly,
you know. So that's what happened.
Exactly. And so yeah, you're right. I mean, Africa, and I think it's gonna happen. I think the current generation, the young people, again, I think we mentioned it last week, but just to reiterate, Africa is the youngest continent on the planet.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I think the average person is what, 18, 19 years old? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that's just mind-boggling compared to the West and even the East. You know, if you look in Asia. So because of all that, and then these are young people, many of them hungry to work. Can you imagine the kind of workforce they can have with all these young people? Right. You know, not working as slaves anymore, but working to actually get some type of profit to take home.
No job. Take
care of your family. Like, can you imagine? Like, there would be so many jobs. They probably wouldn't even have enough people for the amount of job that they could potentially get because of all the resources in Africa right now. Because of everything that is going on. Like I mentioned earlier in our conversation, where about 80% of Africa's resources are still there untouched. So imagine all the hundreds of years that people have been coming and stealing. From
the 1400.
Yes. And yet 80% of the resources are still there. And I guarantee you that's just based on what has not been discovered. What has been discovered. There's many things that have not been discovered.
Oh, I saw this online. I'm not cutting you off. You go back to your statement.
Yeah.
Or remember where you left off.
Right.
I saw this thing online where it was in Congo, where the kids discovered some sort of a rock that when they put it up, it light up. Yeah, it lights up.
Yeah.
You know, like
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know. They took it from under the ground. Like they clean and they put the light bulb on the thing. They put on both sides and they light up.
Yep. So like, think about it again. This is online. You can go see it there. It's not fake. It's not AI. It's there.
It's there.
But I don't know what it is. But imagine if you found a mineral that produces electricity like that. So and then you find out that potentially that thing can produce electricity infinitely. And you have a whole mountain of it? But can you see how Africa can become a target even more?
Right.
Because what are we having a trouble with right here? You know, as advanced as we are, you know, we're all like, I drive electric cars. Both my wife and I drive electric cars. Okay.
Can you imagine putting one of those rock shipping nicely and laying there? You never...
Dude, just think about it, okay? Instead of me having a big 3,000-pound battery or 2,000-pound battery or whatever, 1,000-pound battery in my car, which actually is one of the reasons why there's not a lot of range sometimes. You have that thing, maybe it's the size of like, maybe, I don't know, 100, 200 pounds.
200
you put it in and then click, you plug it in, and then you're driving infinitely, never need to charge again.
Never need to charge it.
Again, we don't know what that is, but if it's
we're just saying,
because I don't want people to think, oh, these people are just, you know, putting this information out there. No, based on what we saw, if that thing is real, okay, and you can just put two things on it and it just lights up, it actually makes me feel bad for Africa because, you know, dude, there's going to be all sorts of ways to try and go and steal that again and then pretend like they discovered it.
But here's the thing, though. Some of the thing, this guy was saying, when Africa get gold, if you discover gold in your country,
be quiet
about it, bro. If you discover anything new, if you discover anything new,
I said to you that, I think.
Just
be quiet.
Stop telling people that you just look. Which one of the country discovered the biggest diamond or the bigger gold, and then they were like, they were all shit. Guess who paid for that shit? The West. They sent someone in there, and they probably when they pay a little bit money, they get them probably like maybe 100 million or maybe less, and they took it for them, and none of them don't even know what they can do. You know, like you're just getting things. This is what I'm talking about, education, bro. Like we need to like they are deprived from learning so much to the point where like we are like some people are like far gone. They're not even most of the leaders, they are not well informed. Like I was telling people, having the Ivy League education or getting the Ivy League, going to the Ivy League school and getting the degree, that doesn't make you educated, because education is actually different. Even though everybody call that education, that just means that's an achievement. You getting that degree is an achievement, because what make you educated is how you carry yourself in the world, like looking at the world, looking at what is around you, look what people are saying, and trying to make a decision. And make the decision that actually makes sense, not making a decision based on if someone tells you this is critical thinking. That's what makes you educated. You know, I see like, and in fact, most of the education they're getting, who knows what make you think whatever they're teaching you over there is the right thing. Because now you come in the real world, everything you learn in the classroom, you come here, things are completely different.
Yeah, you don't practice what you actually learn.
Exactly.
What you're doing is completely different. Again, some jobs,
you're not gonna get tests on it.
Yeah,
life don't give you tests. You don't get exam on life. You don't get tests. You don't get quizzes on life. You don't get pop quizzes on life. It happened one time, and if you fail, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're supposed to look on the road before you back out of your garage, you know it's busy. You're supposed to look left and right before you back on the road, and you didn't look left and right, just back in there. When the car coming, they're not going to say, "Whoop, we're going to stop." They'll restart again, go back in your garage and try to. You know what I'm saying?
There's no second attempt.
No second attempt, man.
There's no redo.
I'm just saying, man, because it's life, bro. It's life. It happened one time. So whatever thing you learn in the classroom, it's different from real life. Stop. Just think. Critical thinking before you make decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying. There's no redo.
No
if you get out of there, it's over. There's no redo.
Dude, I see a lot of people doing that shit online. I'm like, dude, don't do that. You know, they're climbing a tree. They try. I know we're deviating from what we're talking about. But
no. But the thing,
you climb the tree with a power saw in your hand. You climb the tree. You have a power saw in your hand. You're cutting the branch of the tree, knowing very well when they break, it's going to come over you. And you have the saw in your hand, and you're cutting the tree. Dude, it's not going to pause and tell you, okay, I will pause right now.
And then tell you to go back.
Yeah, go.
Do you know? I forgot what it was, but I think it was trying to see. It was showing multiple things, but it was trying to see who was the dumbest person on that picture, right? And within that picture, multiple people sitting on different branches, and they're all cutting it. And then there's one character who, this is the tree trunk. There's a branch going out this way. He's sitting here and cutting between him and the tree. So he's on the branch. He's cutting between him and the tree.
And he's literally going to...
So you keep doing that, you're ending up down there. You're not gonna stay up there. It's not like the tree. It's not like those cartoons and stuff where they don't die. The coyote, no, not just that, but coyote cuts right, and then he doesn't fall. Oh, I'm sorry, the tree falls, but the bird doesn't fall. Exactly. Nah, that's make believe. In real life, you do that, you're the one who's
No, I see a lot of people doing a lot of crazy stuff they do. You gotta be, and I see like, okay, I see some friends where they went to some of the best school in the country, and whenever I talk to them, they don't sound like someone that well educated, bro. Like the way they respond to things, just something critical. You ask them a simple question, so I know this and things are going on right now, but what do you think? Nah, man, forget that thing, man. I'll go this. I said, dude, he didn't even think about that shit.
They learn to regurgitate what they learned in a book, like what they memorized. And again, you're memorizing what something wrong. And again, I'm not saying books are fake or anything like that, but
it's supposed to teach you.
It's supposed to, yeah. It's exactly. It's not, hey, this is gonna happen this way. It's like this is the type of way you need to be able to think. Right. But you can't just take every problem and apply the same solution to it and expect, it to work. No, right. You gotta assess every problem as it exists, and I say, okay, this particular problem, these are the components of it. This is what's happening. This is how I was able to find out the root cause of the problem, and then based on that root cause, I'm going to fix it this way. You may have a different problem. You cannot apply the same solution to that. You need to figure out what is the root cause of that other problem, that new problem that I have, to be able to solve it. But as some people don't think that way. Some people just think that, everything is the same way. Where when I hear people talk about the last election and then the current administration and this and that, and I'm thinking, this is why people say that Americans, at least half of them, tend to always vote against their own interest. Right. It's like you voted, and then now all these things are happening, and you're going to suffer.
Because they vote because they like the person.
No, but they also sit there. See, you and I are not people that just sit there and listen to a politician and say all these and then we believe it. No.
First of all, politicians in my country lies.
Well,
they lie so much to the point where
not just there, here, everywhere.
Too. So they lie so much to the point where before you vote for somebody, they say, when I become president, I will do this for you. You have to look at when they were not president, what they were doing.
What they were doing.
So when they were not president, if they were trying to solve some of the biggest issue that you're having in the community, like maybe there is no drinking water and they're trying to bring drinking water in the community, or maybe there is no roads that live in the city, because what bring connectivity is connecting those roads from the different counties. If they were actually doing that, working on it, before they say, if I become president, I will do something, then that person have the potential to actually be a good leader.
They have a record of doing something similar.
Exactly. But you see someone who never been broke in their life, they never gone through any hardship. They look at someone who is struggling and they look at it and be like, you're not supposed to be struggling. Like, you got all this thing right now. So,
Case in point.
You know what I'm saying?
Our current president has never had the need to be on Medicaid or Medicare.
Exactly.
He's rich. In fact, about 40% of his current net worth was made during the current presidency.
Right.
Okay, you think that guy is going to do something to help you? The current bill they're trying to pass right now is going to take Medicaid away from how many
He's not thinking about poor people.
No, he's not. First of all, the people who finance his campaign are millionaires and billionaires. So when he gets there, who is he going to help? Poor people?
Billionaire.
Are you kidding me? And the fact that people still don't understand that in America, 250 years next year, that this country has existed as a nation, and people still don't understand.
Yeah,
that
1776.
If you think about it, right? And this is why I always say that I trust Bernie more than any other politician. One of the reasons I always tell people is both sides hate him.